What's an unfun fact? During WW1, the British intelligence service created a propaganda campaign that said the Germans were boiling their dead to extract fat and produce nitroglycerine to replenish their dwindling supply. This lie was exposed after the war and there was a considerable amount of public outrage. When similar reports came back of the atrocities that the Nazis were committing during WW2, most people dismissed them because of the boy who cried wolf situation 20 years earlier and really damaged the public opinion of the war, which no one wanted to repeat in the first place. Parvovirus can infect dogs and cats at any particular age and kill them pretty efficiently. It's especially good at doing this with puppies. There's no cure and no antiviral, just boosters and hydration forth you can give them. When a dog comes home healthy from the recovery from a parvo infection, they are contagious for 2 weeks, and if they pee, poop or vomit anywhere at all, including dog parks, that freakin' virus is able to survive for up to a year. Including in 100+ degree weather. Parvovirus sucks. In 2014, the CDC once found a smallpox sample that they had lost and didn't even know it. It was just laying around in some random storeroom. Around 1.5 million people die from TB annually, which is a disease consistently treatable by antibiotics in almost all cases. Fatal familial insomnia exists. It's a rare, incurable prionic brain disease that progressively destroys your brain's ability to sleep. Eventually you stop sleeping altogether, go insane, have seizures, and die. When your skin becomes red from spending too much time under the sunlight, it's basically because your skin cells are committing suicide to avoid becoming cancerous. Edit. Source: the process is called apoptosis, and when cells whose DNA gets messed up by radiation doesn't commit suicide, that's when it starts growing out of control, and thus becomes skin cancer. I'm no expert, but many medical students and professionals I know have told me this is how it works, perhaps in an oversimplified manner. Brush-tailed possums are coprophagic, eat their own shit. They need their food to go through their digestive system twice to get all the nutrients. They are nocturnal, so spend the night eating eucalyptus and other plant leaves and flowers. During the day, they curl up into a little ball with their mouths closed to their bums and eat the soft poo as it comes out in. Then while they're out at night, they poo out hard long pellets of poo, having absorbed all the nutrients. There is a penguin species with 6 practices that were so disturbing that the person studying it almost didn't publish his findings. It involved a lot of rape, necrophilia and pedophilia. Depends on what you find as fun, but King Henry VIII exploded in his coffin while the grave was being dug. The mess was cleared up by stray dogs. Can we get a subreddit for these? I'd like to get depressing facts on the regular, thanks. Only 1 in every 1,000 sea turtles born ever make it to adulthood. Dead people can get goosebumps. Scallops have eyes. Around 200 under the shelly lip. There's a planet where it rains molten glass, horizontally, at 5,400 miles per hour or 8,700 kmh. The first responder to die in 911 was killed by someone jumping out of the building and landing on them. A human tooth has 36 calories. Male cats have spines on their penises that rake the walls of a female's vagina to trigger ovulation and to hold the female in place while mating. The female tarantula hawk wasp stings a tarantula between the legs, paralyzes it, then drags the prey to a specially prepared burrow, where a single egg is laid on the spider's abdomen, and the entrance is covered. Sex of the larvae is determined by fertilization. Fertilized eggs produce females, while unfertilized eggs produce males. When the wasp larva hatches, it creates a small hole in the spider's abdomen, then enters and feeds voraciously, avoiding vital organs for as long as possible to keep the spider alive. After several weeks, the larva pupates. Finally, the wasp becomes an adult and emerges from the spider's abdomen to continue the life cycle. The singer of the Peanut Butter Jelly Time song died in an 11-hour-long police shootout in Las Vegas. all while his brother-in-law Snoop Dogg was trying desperately to calm him down. People who handle cockroaches develop allergies to them. This usually prevents them from drinking pre-ground coffee because of the cockroaches that get grounded in with the large batches. When a male bee drone ejaculates, its testicles explode and the drone dies. It is literally a one-shot wonder. Sea otters kill and rape baby seals, not always in that order. That brain-eating amobus exists at all and is also pretty commonly found in freshwater ponds and lakes. Apparently only 4 people have survived getting it in the last 50 years. Bacteria usually outnumbers your own cells on your own body. How dare they? Penguins practice prostitution. They trade shiny rocks for sexual favors. Whales don't die of old age. Eventually they just don't have the strength to resurface and slowly drown. Squirrels will eat baby birds and horses will eat baby chicks if given the chance. Deep sea octopus babies take 5+ years to hatch, while mama octopus never leaves the nest to feed and dies when the babies hatch. She doesn't eat for 5+ years. Edit. Oh my, this really blew up. Many of you pointed out the source already. It is from Radiolab Optimum episode. I highly recommend. Suicide bombers are a lot easier to identify post-mortem than you'd expect. This is because the blast from the suicide belt hits the base of the head in such a way that the head pops off like a cork. Investigators therefore have a relatively intact head to ID. Edit. Thanks for the gold, kind stranger. In response to speculation in the comments, I'd like to say that I'm not a veteran, a forensics expert, or a gore site editor, and I have not witnessed this in person, although I have seen a couple of photos. I'm just a true crime guy who looked into the forensics after the St. Petersburg and Manchester bombings in 2017. My original source was a quote by journalist Jobby Warwick. Tapeworms can grow up to 32 feet inside of you, and they eat half of what you eat. Dolphins in captivity usually commit suicide by suffocating themselves. Famous example, Flipper. There are only 2 states in the US that have outlawed child marriage. One of them only just put it into law a few weeks ago. 23 states don't even have an age limit on marriage. Scuba divers can experience a sudden change in pressure when swimming near pipes and will get sucked inside. Doesn't matter the size of the hole. It's called Delta P. Worst part? Someone else usually has to go inside the pipe to remove the body. Every unborn baby grows a mustache in the womb, which then spreads to cover the entire body. The baby then eats the entire hair called lanugo and excretes it after birth with their first bowel movement, which is a substance called meconium. When preparing a body for an open casket, the mortician will sew the person's jaw shut to keep their mouth from flopping open and place special contact lenses on the eyes lined with hooks, both to keep the eyelid from snapping open due to shrinking tissues and to give the eye a bit more natural bulge, as the eye tends to sink into the socket after death. A coronal mass ejection, CME, is a powerful burst of energy from the sun, disrupting electronics and causing blackouts. The last time one hit Earth, it ignited telegraphs on fire. We are due for one every 150 years. The last one hit in 1859. These solar storms are a release of plasma and accompanying magnetic field from the solar **corona**. Wait a minute. Edit. I'm told we are due to be hit by one every 150 years. They happen quite frequently and miss Earth all the time. You may have heard that South Koreans have a superstition called fan death, where if you keep a fan on too long it will kill you. The history of its origins is much darker. When people committed suicide and the coroner had to determine cause of death, they would say it was death by fan. This is to save the face of the family and not cause them shame. It eventually became a superstition and one that Westerners find funny. As dead bodies decay, they burp or release gases. For this reason, caskets and mausoleums need to be ventilated so that the gas can escape. The Zodiac killer cold been caught numerous times, if not for San Francisco police/dispatch incompetence. Female ducks get raped so frequently that they have a second decoy vagina that they can offer to intruders, so they don't get pregnant by the duck they don't want to get pregnant by. Edit. Holy shit, this blew up. Thank God it was about duck pussies, wouldn't have wanted to waste it on something stupid.